Alright, so here I am. I'm about to change out my stock 15-2 sprocket for a Sunstar sprocket. This one here is a 16-2. It should give me a little bit lower RPMs at highway speeds and still be decent enough for trail riding. So I'm starting off with a 10mm socket, and there are 3 bolts that hold the cover over the sprocket here, and I'll get this off here right quick. Alright, so I got the 3 bolts off, and the cover comes off real easy like, and this one here is absolutely full of grunge. So I shall get this cleaned up after the fact. Alright, so I've got my bike here set, the cover is off, and I'm about to put breaker bar with a 27mm socket onto the sprocket. So, climb over the bike, foot is on the back brake, hand is on the front brake, and that should do the trick. See here. Yep. The nut is spinning freely. I'll get the next set here taken apart. Alright, so the nut is now loose and it is free. And behind the nut is this crush washer, and on mine it looks like it's slightly damaged. So I may need to get myself a new one. And the nut looks like it is in good condition. The sprocket is not wanting to come off, so I will go grab a puller and see if I can get that to come off. But first thing I'll do is I'll loosen the chain a little bit by loosening the rear axle. Alright, so I got my other camera here, just so I don't have to move the other one. So on this side of the swing arm is a castle nut with, there we go. Yeah, this probably won't look very good in video. I'll get this off and start the video again in a bit. Alright, so I got that cotter pin out the other side. So this side of the axle is a 19mm. And then going around the whole back side here. And this side here looks like it's going to be a 24mm. So I'll loosen off the axle a little bit and then get ready to loosen off these so I can slide the axle and wheel forward just a hair to make room for the sprocket to come off. Alright, so I got the wheel loosened up just a little bit, and I did a quick check on the sprocket, and the sprocket seems to want to move. So let's see if I can get the sprocket out easily enough. Come on, wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. I'll keep playing with this and I'll get back to the video in a minute. Alright, so I think I've got the rear wheel moved forward enough that the chain should have some serious slack, and I should be able to wiggle the chain off the sprocket, and I should be able to get the sprocket out of the chain area. And looks like I might be lucky. Alright, so looks like the sprocket sits on a rubber bushing or something like that. Anyway, that's that. And everything is all apart. Feel looks good behind there. And I don't see any moisture, so I'm going to go grab and get the new 16-2 sprocket ready. Alright, so here's the original sprocket. I'm looking at all the teeth and everything else like that, and there is just a little bit of wear compared to the new sprocket. When I put them side by side and look at them, they are approximately the same depth on either. And when I hold, I don't know if you can see that at all, but the teeth are a match. And of course, the biggest thing is significantly larger all the way around. I'll see about getting this wiggled into place and see what happens when I put the chain back in. Alright, so sprocket is in place. The crush washer is back in place. And the nut is going back on again. I'll get this sorta, kinda finger tight, and then I will adjust the chain to be at approximately a 2-inch worth of play. And I'll start sliding the rear wheel back, get it perfectly aligned, and then I'm ready for a ride. Alright, so I'm working on the back of the bike here, and I'm going to pull the axle back into place by turning these 14mm sockets against the holders. So I've just got a very simple extension bar for my 1/2-inch drive, and too much play, so I'll just pull the axle back. Eyeball says that's about the 2-inch mark. Put the lock nut on. Hold the 14 where it needs to be, and tighten the lock nut. So at this point, I can see this little line here with the gauge, and I make sure that the other side is a match. Just look back and forth a few times, and when it looks good, it's good.